North Node, welcome. To those of you who've been with me before and to those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Melissa. The North Node readings are intended to be quarterly readings, although I might change that up a little bit. I don't know, but that's my intention for this particular reading. So to go through, April, I suppose for you, March, April. But if you come across it at any other time and it seems to speak to you, then it's meant for you. Trust your intuition and that your spirit is leading you here. Okay, so I set up the reading by drawing from the Oracle decks, the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck by Kim Krantz, and Wisdom of the Oracle deck from Colette Baron Reed. You can see I've already drawn your cards, and that will set up the sort of overarching themes that looks like are presenting for you. Then we'll move into the tarot reading. I will put timestamps in the description box below. And so if you want to just listen to the oracle readings, you can do that. I will give a little description of sort of what comes out in the description box. So you can just read that if you want to, or you can just listen to the tarot part, but it all goes together, okay? And it's been very fascinating to see how these readings have unfolded. So right now it seems to me that you are on the precipice of change, of maybe leaving something that you've always known, and that's really important for you to be able to do that, to not stay too long in a space, whatever that space looks like, too long, to be able to trust in flow, to resist getting trapped up in anxiety and needing things to go, according to one, sort of plan, idea, orchestration that you have had in your mind. So the first card that came out was the Village. And I just want to show you how similar it is to the second card in terms of the colors, right? So what's interesting for me is that they're almost yin yang, right? So you have everything that you've ever known, along with this threshold in a space of jumping off into something new, or crossing over into something new, as well as the final card, which was the Seed. Okay, so the beginning is the end is the beginning. Okay, so I will read directly out of the book because I just think that is important when we're looking at oracle cards, and because this deck is pretty deep. Okay, so keywords for the Village are the hometown, the family, and the tribe. The Village presents us with a conundrum. On one hand, it's the place that feels most like home, the place to which you can always return. Nostalgia and comfort draw us back. On the other hand, it's the very place you must leave in order to grow. Around the Village, an unspoken boundary exists, one most villagers do not want you to cross. Though some support your leaving, still you hear whispers of doubt as you venture beyond its borders, leaving them behind. The energy of the Village is present anytime we feel restricted by a certain group, community, family, place, or ideology. It may have served us in the past, yet staying within its parameters will never satiate our thirst for life. Thank the Village for all it has provided, knowing you will someday return. For now, the world awaits. When light, intimate, rooted, intergenerational, and communal. When dark, small-minded, gossipy, trapped, and restricted. Okay. So, oops, no, that's started to turn. Okay, so it seems that you have a sense, or you will have a sense. I think you already do, because you got the seed card and you got the threshold. I think you already are in a space where you recognize that you have been wanting to push past boundaries, and like I said, everything that you've known up to this point. Okay. The door, the gate, the initiation. We cross thresholds continually, consciously and unconsciously. Doorways, gates, and entryways grace our paths on a daily basis. When this card arises, it signifies that the precipice you stand upon is not your typical one, however. You have arrived at a threshold of initiation to usher you into a new reality. It requires you to leave behind the you that you thought was so well formed. A new frontier calls. This is not easy work. Threshold initiation means a part of you will be lost in order to make space for what is next. A metaphorical death must occur. Some may not recognize you. You may struggle to recognize yourself. The ground seems to crumble as you free fall into your new reality. This is the liminal realm, sort of the in between. I'm not here and I'm not there yet. One step, dear friend, just take that one necessary step toward the future that calls you. When light, growth, individuation, ease in the liminal. When dark, resisting, refusing to grow, barriers and boundaries. Crossing a threshold may not always be voluntary. Sometimes we are thrown across the boundary through circumstances far beyond our control. Either way, we cannot go back. Okay. So we'll see what the tarot has to say about these cards and what this is all about. The beginning, the origin, the pearl. Beginnings come in many forms. They are not always a beautiful seed placed intentionally in nourishing soil. Origin stories, like any birth story, are complex and surprising, multi-layered, and usually reveal a central image or detail that represents the fully formed being. Simply stated, the end is present in the beginning, or the entire oak tree resides within the acorn. Okay? Whether you follow this imaginal theory or not, know that when this card appears, there's a potent generative energy all around. It stirs your very insides and usually results in an antsy, impatient feeling. Pay particular attention to what agitates you, as it is a sure sign of growth to come. You are bumping up against a growth edge. It is from the grit that the pearl eventually comes to be. Okay, so something may have initiated this if it wasn't you, but it's definitely causing either, sort of that like existential angst, like it's time to grow. I can feel it. I can sense it. I'm feeling stagnated. I'm feeling trapped. I'm feeling stifled. I'm feeling like there's more that I want to do. There's a more authentic me that is emerging right now. And also because of your South Node being in Virgo, you may be struggling with that, and the angst may become anxiety as you start to overthink, about what should be, or this is going to completely upset, your long laid plans, your apple cart, your family dynamics. It can be anything. Okay. Interesting. Again, all the readings have been like this. These cards are speaking to each other. So you got the observer in the upright position. So we have 49. That's 4 and 9 is 13. So we've got 4. So sort of a need for feeling safe and stable, even as you may be moving through this change, right? Most people see the world, perspective, objectivity, neutral observation from a distance. Most people see the world through a personal lens. They closely identify with their feelings and experiences, so much so that they come to believe that these are the only reality. There are times when you need distance in order to gain perspective and understand your circumstances from a more neutral vantage point. Now is one of those times in your life. This is a perfect moment for you to begin to do some exploring. Instead of only considering yourself, consider what you need to understand about the conditions, people, culture, and environment you're engaged with now. You'll be so happy you did. Illumination is a miracle you seek and will indeed find. Okay, so this is the only card that came out. However, this in the protection position, number 50, 5 is about change, was at the bottom of the deck in the protection position. Interesting. No place like home. Okay, so let's see. There are times when what is familiar and known is not the best choice. Human beings are memory-driven creatures, and we all look for certainty, for what we know, even in the qualities we seek in other people and in external conditions are expressed. What? Let me start that sentence over. Human beings are memory-driven creatures, and we all look for certainty, for what we know, even if the qualities we seek in other people and in external conditions are expressed in unhealthy ways. Okay, thank you. Avoid being too eager to find home. Choose something unfamiliar and trust that there you will find a new normal that supports your spirit. Remember, if you do what you did, you'll get what you got. Do the opposite of what feels right, even if it's uncomfortable, because what feels right, okay, I think the key word here is the right versus wrong. It's important for you, I think, to trust like the sensations, your intuition, allow that to guide you. If you're feeling the angst, which is your spirit like pushing you to growth, is very different than the anxiety from, having this committee debate in your head of, is this right? Is this wrong? Okay. Because what feels right is really what feels familiar, and you will attract and be drawn to the very things you don't want anymore. This time will not be different unless you do something different. Okay, so we don't want to stay in analysis paralysis. And then underneath this bottom of the deck card was time to go. Okay, so bottom of the deck energy for me is the energy that's moving from the past into the present and then further into the future. So this kind of theme, you must have been feeling this for a while. Okay. And like the Wild Unknown deck said, you're right on that threshold. Am I going to jump? Can I trust that if I take this move, it's me becoming, growing into me, and then if I grow more into me, my fullest potential as the oak tree, what my little acorns and my seeds for the future will be. So, it's kind of all playing on each other. So, okay, so let's look at this. Let's look at the tarot reading at 1345. Okay, so I'm just going to leave these here so I can refer to them and remember what we are looking at. Okay. So what are the challenges present for Pisces North Node? Is that it? Oh, yep. Okay. Well, bottom of the deck, choice point underneath that is Wheel of Fortune. So definitely making a choice because change is upon you. Turning of the wheel. Okay. The World card. An ending is here. Okay, you've completed a cycle, and now it's time to birth something new through this, birthing canal. So it's a completion, and now it's time to birth, something new. And we've got the Queen of Pentacles. So is this a business? Does this have to do with something in business or home, potentially a relationship, maybe home and family, as was discussed earlier in the village? You may be really reflecting on this. This kind of reminds me of the when my kids left the nest. I have twin boys, and when they went off to college, I think the year before that, I got divorced. So it was kind of like, wow, this really was the ending of a chapter. And I knew that I needed to close that book, and I really wanted to clear everything out. Not in like a hateful way, but just because I knew, like, okay, now mommy years are done, or, that is completed. And what am I going to do with the rest of my life? And this has been doing Honeybee U Tarot has been one of my babies. I started off, kind of returning to some of my passions and interests, and while I was kind of resting and figuring out what my next move was going to be. And I started came across a tarot channel, and I started watching that, and really things started to click for me from like 15 years ago when I had first started, having an interest in tarot beyond astrology. And so it became this new baby for me. And so you could be closing one chapter to have a real sense that, this very nurturing, abundant, creative, you, either it's time for you to close a chapter perhaps, or to, I don't know, maybe you've been single for a while and now you're thinking about entering into a relationship. Maybe you've been independent for a while and now you're thinking about entering into a relationship. I don't know, we'll see, but that seems to be what the challenge is. It has something to do with business, home, family, making a choice around that particular issue. And maybe allowing yourself to appreciate everything that you have manifested and created and grown and developed, and being grateful that it's had its season, and being in acceptance that, okay, things move in cycles, and it's time to let that thing go, whatever that looks like. Okay, so what are your strengths? What are the strengths that you're bringing forward? The Fool wants to pop out. Yeah, definitely the Fool would like to pop out. Okay. Bottom of the deck. Okay. Completion of one level, one cycle, like I said. So the Chariot is at the bottom of the deck. You have, been very successful. You have proved yourself. You have, in the major arcana, the first line ends with the Chariot. Okay, it's one level. And 7 is a choice point. So for me, sevens are always about choice points for leveling up, for spiritual growth, personal growth, whatever you want to say. So the Chariot, also a card of Cancer. The Chariot, this particular Chariot, has ridden through the city. Look, He's left the city behind, left through the village, did what he needed to do there, and looks like he's venturing out, right? But right now, these are not horses, they're sphinx, okay? But right now, he's at a standstill, gathering that, what do we call it? The energy, the momentum, the energy is building up as this person decides in which direction they're going to go. Okay? It's not willy-nilly, and that's okay, right? Don't need to be moving impulsively. It looks like you need some time, you know, to grieve. All right. So we've got the Three of Cups. Okay. It's okay if you have what appears to be conflicting emotions at the same time. You can celebrate, be celebratory with your friends, with friends and family, celebrating this initiation, this time, while also grieving, taking the time to mourn the ending of a chapter. I certainly did. I mean, there was a part of me that was like, okay, like I had complete peace with it. Like I've been through this many times before. But I had complete peace with it, but it was really like this, it was so big. It was so symbolic. But I was very determined to be, you know, strong and to see it as a beginning rather than as an ending. But then I pulled out one of my kids' little baby plastic Spider-Man plates, and it was in the basket where all my cookie cutters were. And it really was just symbolic of like, oh my God, like my kids are not babies anymore. And I'm not a mommy. They don't need me in that way anymore. And I'm not, that's done. Right. And so there was a need to get a little emotional. There was a need to celebrate, be with friends, but also allow that space for reflection and for grieving. And you know what? These two cups are here behind me, or behind, you know, this figure. There's two cups. You know, this isn't a torrent of tears. Okay, it's a willingness to say goodbye and then turn around, pick up those cups and walk. Maybe this is a new city, right? Or maybe you'll venture on and then you'll come back to the city, your village. Or maybe you won't, but you'll go back to a place that feels where you're creating more stability in your life. Safety, a sanctuary, if you will. I just feel like maybe this has been about a relationship. Maybe you went through a divorce and you're thinking about leaving where you have been. Oops. Let me stop talking. Okay, so the next position is tendencies to leave behind. That did not flip. It flipped, then it didn't flip. It flipped back. Tendencies for Pisces North Node to leave behind. Okay. Okay. Tendencies for you to leave behind. You got the Emperor. Okay. Part of Aries. Being very rigid. Too focused on, rules, regulations, what has always been, how it always was, the structures that have been, in place along, also 10 of Wands, okay? Being, Five of Swords is at the bottom of the deck, okay? Believing maybe that there is this right or wrong, leaving conflict, tendency to leave behind is, carrying the burden all by yourself. Holding the responsibility maybe even for the maintenance of the structure and the stability, if this is a family situation, maybe you've always been the one you've done all the work to keep the family together. We all know people who have been in those roles, or we have been in those roles, where it's been our responsibility to be the peacemaker, to keep everything, everyone together. And it's just time to leave that be. And it's not time, it's a time for you to leave behind and need to have like super rigid structure in your life. Your South Node in Virgo was definitely all about a need, maybe even past lives that had to have extreme structure and extreme rules, rituals, methodology, and it's time for you to let go of that. Okay. It's time for you to let go of even getting engaged in these conflicts, verbal, mental conflicts with others where, there's someone's right and someone's wrong. It's time for you to just follow your path. You do not have to hold this family, this structure, this life together all on your own. Okay? And what to focus on to help not only you, Pisces North Node, but the collective. No. Well, there you are, Pisces, at the bottom of the deck, but I'm not taking that giant stack of cards. And that's okay. The cards that need to come out always come out. Okay, Pisces North Node. What does Pisces North Node need to focus on? Moving forward, Pisces North Node. Focus on. Yeah. All right. Okay. First, let me look at the bottom of the deck for you. Okay. Feeling isolated, feeling left out in the cold, feeling all alone. Okay. This may be what you have been feeling, for a long time now. It's time to leave that behind. to know that you're not alone. I mean, you could go in this church, right? They're walking in the snow, and you know they're all hobbly and sickly looking, and you know they're walking in the barefoot in the snow, and inside they the light is on in the church. They could go in, okay? But more important than that is, again, we've got another 5, another change. How many 5s did you get so far? Got another one here of the 5 of Cups, 5 of Pentacles. Yeah, I just really feel like this is a change of your family situation, money maybe even, but focus on the light within. Focus on the comfort and the companionship of spirit that is within your intuition. Let it guide you. This is the card, okay? 3 of Wands, and you got a 3 of Cups, okay? Right above it. So, you know, where it's looking into the distance, you know, where do you, maybe you're waiting for something, or you're thinking about or having fantasies of maybe even traveling abroad, moving abroad, or maybe someone's coming to you from a distance, or just allowing yourself to think after you have put something out there into the world, you know, what is coming back to you? What are you manifesting? What are you creating from your heart and from your passion? What will make you feel joy in life? What would you need to take action on to bring that back towards your life? You have to put something out there, is what I'm trying to say. You have to take action. You have to take action steps to get here, okay, to where you can now start seeing the consequences of your actions. But you have to do that, and you have to trust that you can do that. Focus on manifesting, focus on envisioning, focus on, you know, what your adventure could look like. Okay, now let's look at the blocks, the possible blocks here. And this is from the Chakra Wisdom Oracle Guide, Oracle deck from Tori Hartman. Okay, possible blocks for Pisces. I mean, the energy here, the colors are very active. Ooh. Okay, the colors are very active here. Bright, they're very bright. The only one that isn't is really, you know, needing to take some time to grieve as you move through this change. But all the other colors, I mean, they're just like, look at that. Not a lot of faded out grays or wishy-washy blues, right? So very action oriented. Okay. Potential blocks: isolation and despondence. You know, if you stay too long in the sense of isolation, or that you're alone, all alone in this, right? You can become despondent, depressed. But we'll look at and see what what the Oracle guidebook says, and then we'll see what the highest possible outcome is, and then get one more final card from Archangel Metatron deck. Isolation. Do not wait for the right time to live your life. You are on the verge of something big, but if you don't participate, it could pass you by. Personal inquiry. Sapphire does not know the difference between isolation and solitude. Do I? Okay, Sapphire must be this being. Key idea: self-protection, making excuses, over-preparing, never feeling ready to take action. That is all coming from your South Node, okay? Your North Node is really all about trusting and moving in flow with spirit, and just accepting that when it's time to change, when change is upon you, not overthinking it. Keywords: celebration, experiences, and play. Yes. Okay. And despondence. Just on here. I don't know, what are those? Are those? Oh, yeah. Those are Iris. Okay, so her name is Iris. Okay. Iris teaches us that the only route out of stagnation is motion. Like I said, all the colors in here, are all about action, as were the colors in the archetypes cards. Okay. Iris teaches us that the only route out of stagnation is motion. If we do nothing, we must accept the consequences. Personal inquiry: in which part of my life am I feeling immobilized? I know what I need to do. Am I willing to trust myself? Feeling helpless, acceptance of circumstances, change on the horizon, and taking action. Keywords: revelation, movement, and encouragement. Okay? So the blocks here, the feeling helpless, feeling immobilized, not being able to trust yourself or life, right? No. You can. The lights are on. If you're not looking, that is a choice. The lights are on. Either call on your spiritual, maybe go to a spiritual leader or counselor or anybody that can help you. But most importantly, I think here is to connect within. Underneath this card is Temperance, okay? The Alchemist, healing, being patient, not stagnant. And okay, let's look at highest possible outcome. Highest possible outcome for Pisces North Node. Okay, thank God. We got the Star, hope, healing, trusting in your absolute connection. You are in the flow with all of the cosmos, okay? She lacks nothing. The water flows. She's not even looking, right? It's regenerating. It's never ending. You're in the flow. This is about hope and healing. and Justice. You might be going through a divorce or a legal, something, some legal issue, but it looks like so we got Aquarius, Libra, and we've got the Devil card here at the bottom of the deck. I feel like you're getting out of, you're healing from this energy. You're escaping, you're breaking away finally from a toxic situation, whether it's addiction or a toxic relationship or something that made you feel chained, trapped, stuck, bound. It doesn't have to be toxic, but it was something you're too bound, to it potentially. And it could be something or someone that was very toxic. If you take those action steps, it looks like healing, justice will be served. This could be justice on a karmic level as well, because we've got 11. Justice is blind in so many ways that it's justice comes from consequences of our choices at a higher level. Okay. It could be leveling out, past karmic relationship. No. Okay. And one final. Okay, look for signs from Spirit. Okay, signs and synchronicities to help you along your way. That's actually when I was feeling very, very alone in my life many, many, many years ago. That's how I started connecting and feeling not so alone and understanding my connection and that I did matter was in connecting to the messages from Spirit and looking and seeing synchronicities in my life. I actually chose a butterfly and look, here I am. Okay. And yeah, that's been quite a journey many, many years ago. But so that kind of wanted to peek out, and that resonated to number 5. So again, another change, but it was peeking out. It didn't come out, so I didn't take it, but there you go. Okay, so that is one way to connect, to know your importance and that you are not alone and that Spirit, God is with you, whatever you call that. Look for signs and synchronicities. Okay, so it's talking. What is one final message for Pisces North Node? Oh, that's a... Okay. Now you might get more than one final message. We'll see. Wow. Lord. Okay. All right. I will read this one, but I will show you all of these as well. Another 5. I mean, you can't avoid this change, okay? Communication, speak up and be heard. Authentic self, who are you? Who are you now? Safety, strength, and power, 55. Wow. 46 is 10 or 1, right? Beginning. Another 10, 55. Talked about the World card, okay? Wow, this is incredible. Incredible, incredible, incredible. Archangel Sandalphon is with you now. Look up Archangel Sandalphon. And that's a number 22. Are you kidding me? Look at this. Look, you are where you need to be right now. I can't even say this. I mean, this is crazy. So you got 55, 22, and now 44. Shine on. I think whatever you're going to go through or whatever you are going through will help you to be a light, a shining light for others who may be going through what you are going through. Okay? You are not alone. You do need to connect to spirit. You do need to connect to your higher self, to trust in change, to let go, to trust in letting go, to not have to have control over everything. Okay? Let's look at speak up and be heard. The bottom of the deck here. Healing. Pause and receive healing. Okay. I'm going to attempt to read this without these. All right. Card number 5 links to the planet Mercury, which rules communication and mental powers. Okay, so we're in Mercury retrograde right now, and something about Pisces and Mercury is happening today. I don't know if Pisces is entering Mercury right now. We go Mercury retrograde, I think at the very end of the month. Wow. Okay. Just having a moment here. You are asked to let out all that you have bottled up inside of you for so long. I can almost feel you crying right now. Hearing that. Waiting for the right conditions and the right time to be heard. You are asked to dig deep, shatter the walls of glass you have placed around yourself, and say all that is needed to clear the air and voice your truth. So often we are afraid to voice what feels unspeakable, our own true desires, wishes, opinions, and feelings. And yet by doing this, we hide the truth of who and what we are. One of the most beneficial things that a baby does is learn to talk. The joy of those first few words spoken and the ability to communicate their needs and exchange dialogue with another is a huge gift. However, as we grow, we may learn that our voice isn't being heard and our views are not appreciated or acceptable, and so we grow silent. Archangel Metatron stands ready to help you dissolve your fear. Whatever your wishes are for communication, allow this now. It may also be that you are waiting for an important message or to hear someone express how they truly feel about you. Are you open to hearing the truth without judgment, blame, or expectation? If so, ask for this now too. Let your words be soft, gentle, and loving. If others raise their voice, lower yours. If others speak in hate, speak love back. When others feel unheard, allow them to express themselves to you. Communication is all about learning to listen. You are encouraged to use nonverbal forms of communication as well. Journal, write poetry, create affirmations, paint, play music. Expression takes many forms. Do anything that feels right to unlock your emotions and honor them. You know, sometimes You know, it's all well and good to say, speak your truth, but there are people who will work hard to not understand you. And if you're in this kind of an energy, it's kind of pointless. Okay. But what you can do is speak your truth to people who will listen, who will validate how hard this is for you, what you have gone through. And even if that's just you being able to speak it out loud, reading back to you what you journal, um, um, it is important to start saying it, to admitting what you've gone through, how hard this has been. Okay? It may also be that Archangel Metatron wishes to speak through you to channel his voice into your life, your home, your workplace, and your world, to allow his wisdom to be spoken through you and his words of love, truth, and light to be manifest. His voice can be your voice. How does it feel to hear that? Do you speak with his love? Allow healing blue light to flow into it, freeing it up to be a vessel of the divine, which is what you are. When your words are in alignment with this divine truth, no harm can befall you and no judgment can come, because the one who hears it knows it is the voice of love. You are encouraged to chant, tone, and sing, and to do so loudly. Who and what you are. Your voice is needed. The time to hear it is now. Let it be a force for good in this world. Your voice is unique and belongs to you. Let others hear its beauty, conviction, and strength. Okay. Pisces North Node, I am sending you so much love, and I wish you comfort and strength during this time. If you are feeling very alone, just know that you have spirit with you, and just know, be you. Your journey matters. All that you've gone through, it does matter, as does your healing. You matter. You matter to all of us. Your healing can be a light for others. Thank you for being here and being a part of my path and my community. And be well.